Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om Sadashivasamārambhām Shankarācārya Madhyamām Asmadācārya Paryantāṃ Vande Guru Parampārām Shruti Smriti Purāṇānaṃ Ālayam Karunālayam Namaami Bhagavad Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankarācāryam Keshavam Vādāyanam Sutra Bhāshyakrito Vande Bhagavanto Punar Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ugarasandhagaro Vairugarasthannivartakaha Andhagara Nirodhitvat Guruvidyadvidite Om Sahanavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryan Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvijavahe Om Shanti 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 Vasudeva Satam Devam Kamsajanuramartanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. We will start with 21st verse. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Veda Vinashinam Nityam Yayena Majam Avyayam Katham Sapurusha Partha Kam Ghatayati Hantikam Vasam Sijirnani Yata Vihaya Navani Krinnati Naroparani Tata Sharirani Vihaya Jirnani Anyani Sanyati Navani Dehi Nainam Chindanti Shastrani Nainam Dahati Pavakaha Nachainam Kledayantyāpaha Nasoshayati Marutaha Achetyo Yamadahyoyam Akledyo Soshyayevacha Nitya Sarvagatastanuhu Achaloyam Sanatanaha Avyakto Yamachintyoyam Avikaryoyam Uchyate Tasmadevam Viditvainam Anusochitumarhasi Adachainam Nityajatam Nityam va manyase mritam Tatapitvam Mahabaho Naivam sochitumarhasi Jatasya hidruvo mrityuhu Dhruvam janma mritasya cha Tasmadapariharyerthe Tattvam sochitumarhasi Avyaktadini bhutani Avyaktamadhyani bharata Avyaktanidhananyeva Tatra ka paridevana. So I think we saw Pratibodha Viditam Matam, right, in the previous Upanishad class. So every bodham, every cognition is nothing but is showing what you are. Every cognition is pervaded by your Swarupa, the Chaitanya Vastu. If that is the case, what is Ishvara? So we said this Brahman is Jagat Karanam, Maya and all that, right? But how does Bhagavan see this Jagat, right? Now if we need to get a knowledge, suppose I have to say this is a floor mat. I have a cognition of the mat, one vritti takes place. It is there, then a vritti takes place, I get a perception, right? There is sun, there is a sun vritti, sun akara vritti, then I get a knowledge of sun. There is a book, I have a book akara vritti, then I get the knowledge of book. So this is called Sakara Vrittigata Jnana. Now Bhagavan cannot have this one by one knowledge. Because Bhagavan cannot say, oh, this is sun, right? Because he is the Srishti Sthiti Samhara Karta. Also, the Ishvara, there are not many Ishvaras, like one is putting his hand and spinning the earth, another is lighting up sun, another is making Saturn spin. That kind of a Bhagavan there cannot be like multiple Bhagavans who are sitting and physically doing all this. Nor like Christianity says God cannot be sitting in heaven. And by Swamiji used to say, for them they drop planets like donuts. Okay, that is the Christian God, right? So who sits in heaven and then keeps creating all this and then putting them in place and then making. So it cannot be like that. So Bhagavan can't be just sitting somewhere. Then you will ask the question, from where did he get the material to create all this? And Bhagavan is sitting in a heaven means who created that heaven, right? And if Bhagavan has to have hands, legs and all that, who created that body? So Bhagavan cannot be a person. It is not recognizable that he is sitting in a heaven or a place and he has material. So the Bhagavan himself or herself has to be the material. And what is this material? But it is said, it's a jnanamayam tapaha, yasya jnanamayam tapaha. So the Bhagavan is in the form of jnanam itself. Okay, so he doesn't understand through vritti jnanam like us. His upadhi itself is jnanam. That is called yugapat jnanam. At once he understands everything. So in fact he sees, therefore the Jagat is. Okay, like our dream. In our dream we see a world. And world is there. The material is who? We are the material. There are people there. There are also other people. There are mountains. There are trees. But all of them are there in my own consciousness, right? Similarly, this Brahman, Tat Srishtva Tadeva Anupravishate. It creates the Jagat out of itself and then it enters it. Out of itself means what? It's all consciousness only, because the itself there is consciousness. No, Bhagavan is awareness. So the whole Jagat is actually in the form of this awareness only. So when we say Maya and all that, it is, if it is everything is only Chit, how come you are seeing a dream, right? So you have to say something causes me to see the dream, even though there is no such something, but still I am seeing the dream. That's why this Maya we have to say, it neither exists nor doesn't exist, right? But somehow I am seeing a Jagat, okay? But the Upadhi is in the form of Jnanam, okay? That's why when we say Pratibodha Viditam, I thought I will cover this, right? So Bhagavan is in the form of Jnanam only. So that is important to recognize. See, that's why the prayers work. Otherwise, you pray. How is Bhagavan able to hear that prayer, right? See, for Christians and Muslims and all that, God is in the heaven. So then you have to go to a place of assembly, okay, which is a church or a mosque, and then you shout so that Bhagavan can hear, okay. Now for us, temple is not a place of assembly, right? There we did do Pratishtha because Bhagavan is here. The Bhagavan is not somewhere else, right? Right now, I am sitting here in front of you, there is this world, there Bhagavan is. In every cognition, the what is there is only Bhagavan. Just that we don't recognize that, right? That is why in temple we say, so the altar of worship, we don't call Bhagavan as idol. Okay, people say we are idol worshippers, right? It is not idol worship, it is an altar of worship. So even though Bhagavan is everywhere, I need a form to see. Swamiji used to say, if you want to greet a person, you don't have to shake the whole person, right? Just shake his hand, that is good enough, right? Because you need an altar to somewhere way to relate to Bhagavan, okay? It's not an idol. See, even a cross is an altar, right? It is not nice. So that's again Swamiji used to say, if cross is a thing, then every lamp post is a cross. So then that also you have to go and worship, right? So why are you worshipping only in the church? because it's an altar of worship. It represents something for them, right? So similarly, our rupas, the murtis are altars of worship. They signify what Bhagavan is. So for you to understand what Bhagavan is, so these are altars. So that's where we relate to Bhagavan directly, right? And Bhagavan hears our prayers because he is omnipresent. So he is in the form of awareness. So when does Bhagavan hear your prayer? When you are praying itself, it is heard. Because Bhagavan is part of you, right? That is a grace. So that's why we just think of something, the prayer is answered. Okay. The other thing, right? Then yesterday we spoke about these three things. This Hiranyagarbha, Virat and Ishvara, right? So very interestingly, there is this, in India there is one story in our religion, right? So Mahavishnu and Brahma wanted to find the head and feet of Shiva, okay? So then this Mahavishnu takes the Kurma Avtara and he says, I'll find the feet. He digs and then goes. So he keeps on going Patala, he goes beyond, he's still not able to find. So he comes back. This Brahma says, I will find the head, and then he keeps going, he kept on going. And apparently this Tadambu, right, that's what they said, it keeps coming down. And then he asks, where are you coming down from? He says, I am coming from the head of Shiva. Then he says, how far it is? No, it will take few million years for you to reach there. Then Brahma says, you come with me, tell Mahavishnu that I picked up you only from the head of Shiva, okay? So he also comes and says, that's why we don't use that Tadambu for Shiva's puja. There's some story is there, right? See, the idea is, the Shiva is a sthanu, yesterday we saw, and Achala, who is like a rock, it doesn't end anywhere. And we said he is like the deep sleep, right? The third state, the Vishwa Taijasa Prajna, the Samashti Prajna is Ishvara. And from the Ishvara only the Jagat comes forth. First comes Hiranyagarbha, which is the subtle Jagat, and then the gross Jagat, right? Which is the manifested Jagat. So the manifested Jagat, what we call as Vishnu, we said. Then this Samashti subtle Jagat is what we say is Brahma. So the subtlest can see the subtle and gross. The subtle can see the gross, but gross cannot see the subtle, right? It is the most manifested thing, right? So Ishvara becomes the Karana for the Hiranyagarbha, and Hiranyagarbha becomes the cause for the manifest Jagat Virat. So that is the Tatparya here, right? So Vishnu and Brahma, which are the manifested Ishvaras, are not able to objectify the unmanifested Parameshwara. Okay? That is the Tatparya. They give a story like this so that people kind of get some basic idea, right? But if you see that Lingodbhava Murti in our southern temples behind, there will be like one stamba which actually goes right below and then on top also. You won't see the top and bottom visible. In most Kanjipuram and all, you can see that temple, right? That means it's a continuous, so there is no end to it. Issue. So what ends, where does it start, right? It is one existence. See, the end and start is all a spatial concept, right? But space itself is in your Chaitanya, right? And either it's a time concept or a space concept, right? Which is all in your mind. It's in your cognition. What causes the cognition cannot itself be limited by time and space. That's what Ishvara is. So you need to understand what Ishvara is. That is why the whole Niyati, what exists, everything is Ishvara. There is nothing other than Ishvara. Then who are you, right? So you are one Jiva who thinks I am separate from all this. This Ahankara is what we are. On top of it, the Kama Karma Karya happens. And because of ignorance, all this goes on, right? Once that ignorance is resolved, all that exists is only Bhagavan, okay? And you become that. So there is one discussion we were having with one of the people here. So, Dvaitis, how do they look at this, right? So, Bhagavan says, Kshetrajnam Jabimam Vidhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. I am the indweller of all the bodies. So, idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidiyate. This body is called kshetram, field of experience. So the field of experience is pervaded by one Atma. That's what he says. Sarva kshetreshu ahameva kshetrajna. And kshetra kshetrajnyoho jnanam. So only these two things exist. And whoever recognizes what is kshetra and kshetrajna, that alone is a jnanam. Kshetra kshetrajnyoho jnanam yatta jnanam matam mama. Okay. So the kshetrajna is the one who is all pervasive. Now then, how does the Dvaiti takes? The question that generally is asked is, most of the Dvaitis have this problem. Vishtadvaitis also have a problem. If somebody becomes a jnani, that person doesn't see any reality in the world. So if I am a jnani, I don't see a shishya or a guru. Even this Nirvana Shatkam we just chanted in meditation, right? Guru naiva shishya. So neither I am a guru nor I am a shishya. Then how can a jnani teach? Is the question they ask. So Shastra Upadesha Anarthakyam is what they say. There is no artha in your Shastra Upadesha. Either you are telling a lie or so how will you teach? Okay, so the problem there is the Satya Mithya is never understood, right? Just because I say pot is clay and the lid is also clay, a lid, if it goes to a jnani pot, the pot will say, yeah, I am a pot, you are a lid, but we both are clay only. Upadesha is possible, no? Though both are clay, there is an apparent appearance of potness and lidness there. And the apparentness is what is taught, right? The fact that I am a clay, both of them will automatically understand. The moment you remove the notion that you are a pot or a lid. Okay, that is the Upadesha. In fact, Velamunda says only in Advaita Upadesha is possible. See, everywhere else it's a belief, no? Finally, what are you going to say? If Bhagavan is indweller, either you recognize it as you. If you don't recognize it as you, then what is the philosophy that comes in? It is something else, God, who you will never be able to recognize, who is pervading somewhere inside you, which you won't know. And you should always be a dasa, because you are totally dependent on that one thing which is anyway controlling you. Like, you know, this they say Soros controls Rahul Gandhi, right? You will see most of the memes with Soros hands and then so, I mean, I'm not talking politics, just as a simile I'm just saying. So that is how it's looked upon, right? It is a God who is there and controlling like this, what is it? Puppet show, right? So we are all like puppets, and then Bhagavan is inside. So be careful, he is always observing you. He is like, you can cheat everybody but not Bhagavan because he is inside you. So all that fear they create. No, some notional God somewhere, I don't even know, without me being aware, is sitting inside me. Okay, so that's how 99% we also think like that, right? Until jnana happens. Somewhere there is looking at you from inside, right? So, but that's okay to start with. But that cannot be your final thing, right? See, the idea is the Shastra tries to remove all the clutches from you. It tries to make you free. Not eventually make you a slave of some imaginary God, right? Somewhere sitting. Or inside you also it's the same thing. Okay. So we'll now get to Shastra. Just before that, now that the context is there, this one thing that Swamiji gives an example is rising sun. Okay, when we say sun rises in the east, or peacock is beautiful. So there, the jnanam that happens is you understand, once you understand science, that it is not the sun which is rising, right? We all understand that it appears as though it is rising. You still enjoy the sunrise, but you know that it's not rising. Okay, so that's how the Jagat is. Similarly, he says peacock's colors apparently are not real colors. It is some prism kind of thing in its body which make you see colors, right? So which means there is no actual color there, but you enjoy it, right? But once you understand it's not a color which is part of peacock's body, you still enjoy the color, but in your mind you know that it is not. So how does it help? Because it helps you be free, because you are not bound, you are not affected. It's like watching a movie, right? So in a movie, Pasamalar, Shivaji Ganesan and Savitri are like crying. You also cry. Swamiji used to say this. You also cry, but you will be eating popcorn and crying, okay? Because you know it is a movie, right? You are not really affected by it. It's like a beggar playing, it's a king playing the role of a beggar. Again, another example Swamiji gives, right? Some rich man plays a role of beggar. So he will act very well, everybody will cry, he will make everyone cry. But he knows he is not a beggar, no? So it's a role play. Similarly, in your life, once you know you are Brahman, your role play, you are not affected by what happens in the role play. You play your role perfectly because you are unaffected. You are emotionally not vulnerable. So you will do what has to be done. That's what he tells Arjuna, no? You do what has to be done. Don't be affected by Bhishma or Drona or whatever, right? See yourself, so he looks at it both from dharma perspective also, he says, because if everybody looks at only relationships, dharma will never prevail. No? A judge cannot give a judgment. People can be colored by their political things, right? So a kingdom cannot be ruled, a government cannot rule. So everywhere there is something or other emotion comes into play. That is one way to look at it. But if you look at your Swarupa also, that's why Bhagavan everywhere, we will see in the next verses, he says, if you consider yourself to be a Kshatriya, then you look upon it like this. If you look upon your Atma as Parabrahma, then you see it like this. So at every level, he gives how you should see it. Okay. Which one are we seeing? Avyaktadini bhutani. Vyaktamadhyani bharata. Avyaktanidhananyeva. Tatraka paridevana. See, this avyakta is what is unmanifest. Okay. So you can look at unmanifest from a Vyashti perspective and Samashti perspective. So you wake up, there is a world, there is sequence of experience, and then you go to deep sleep. The same Jagat along with Ajnana is in a seed form, because when you get up again, you get up as same. Yesterday you went to sleep as Kishore, today you don't get up as Kalyan, no? So the same Kishore only has come back now, and all his thoughts, memory, everything is there. So we have to assume it is in the form of an unmanifest form in you. Okay, that's why when you get up, you don't get up as a jnani or with a new this thing, right? So ignorance is there, your memory is there, your identity is there, everything is there in an unmanifest form. In Samashti also we say the same thing. That is what is Pralaya. All the Jivatmas during Pralaya they go into an unmanifest form, into Ishvara. Okay. And again when Srishti happens, they all get manifest. Okay, that's how we understand. Srishti is a cycle, right? Bhagavan manifests, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest, that is the Jagat. So here he is saying everything has to be seen as Avyaktadi. It starts as unmanifest, then it manifests, then it goes back to unmanifest. It means again it will manifest sometime. So if that is how the whole, if you understand it that way, then what is there to be worried about? Because it's a cycle. Somebody asked me a question. So if human being only gets moksha, then what happens to animals, plants? And people also ask, if only in India you have Vedanta and Dharma, what about people who are born in Africa? Right? All those questions come. Fair questions only. So generally, see how we answer is within the karma model only, the rebirth cycle only we have to answer, right? Because we always say within karma model, your prarabdha determines where you are. So if your current prarabdha in this birth is to be an animal, and so you whatever, right, the papas that are eliminated in that birth, in next birth you become a human, and next birth, suppose you didn't use your human birth, next birth you are born as a plant, so again you are born as a human being. Right, so this whole cycle keeps going and going. So it was you who was a plant in some birth. It is a pig who are born as you now. We don't know, right? In which birth, what were we? So that's why Shastra says you somehow have got a human birth now, right? And by some Vishesha, Ishvara Anugraha, you have come to the Shastra, right? We don't know after how many births you are going to get this chance again, right? You should have a body, human body, and you should have the right background. You should reach the right place where the Shastra is. Right? All these have to happen for you to gain the jnanam. Right? That's why next to, after some 2-3 verses, he is going to say, Ascharyavat pashyati kaschit. Right? It's a wonder how somebody gains this jnanam. Right? And how somebody teaches this. And even after teaching, somebody doesn't understand is also a wonder. Somebody who understands also is a wonder, who doesn't understand also, everything is a wonder, is what Bhagavan says, right? So some Ishvara's grace only you can get liberated. So don't waste the opportunity is what we say, right? Because we don't know how many, then Sivapuranam he says, right? Pullagi, Puduvai, Pundahi, Palviruga, Virugamai, Pampagi, Ganangalai, எல்லா பிறப்பும் எங்கமத்துள் எல்லா பிறப்பும் பிறந்திழைத்தேன் எம்பெருமான் ஐயவன் பொன்னடிகள் கண்டின்று வீடுற்றேன் and all that. So we don't know how many births we have taken, right? And if we lose this, we don't know after how many births you are going to come back, right? So it's a thing that we shouldn't let go. Otherwise, that's why Jaishankarji was saying, no, Mahati Vinashti. You just let go one of the greatest opportunities because you could have become infinite. You could have gotten free of the cycle, right? Be yourself.
Lifetime opportunity.
Okay. So next verse itself is Ascharyavat. Okay. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschidenam Ascharyavat vadati tataiva chanyaha Ascharyavatchayenam Anyashrunoti Shrutvaapyenam Vedana chaiva kaschite. I'll give you Anvaya. Kaschit Yenam Ascharyavat pashyati Tata eva cha Anyaha Ascharyavat vadati Anyascha yenam Ascharyavat shrunoti Kaschit cha sutvapi yenam naveda eva. Literal meaning, Kaschit someone, yenam, this Atma, Brahman that he has been talking about. Till verse 30, it is called Sankhya, Yesha te abhihita Sankhya buddhihi yogetu imam shunu. Bhagavan is going to say, whatever I have been spoken so far is about Brahman. Okay, is what he will say. So that's what this yenam, ayam, all this, wherever he uses, it is about Brahman. Okay. Someone, yenam, this Atma, Ascharyavadeva pashyati. Ascharya prayam. Basically, as a wonder somebody sees, or scarcely only somebody sees. Okay, you can take both ways. But sees it as a wonder is also a great way to look at it. Right? Swamiji takes that as itself as a wonder, is how he takes. Or like a wonder also we can take. Okay. Tata eva cha, similarly, anyaha ascharyavat vadati. To others, he speaks as a wonder, right? Anyascha yenam ascharyavat shrunoti. Okay, somebody also rarely as a wonder, someone listens to this. Because, first of all, I will explain. Let me finish the literal meaning. Okay. Kaschitta shrutvapi, even after hearing, yenam naveda eva, one doesn't, as a wonder that people don't understand at all. Because your own Swarupa, it is such a simple thing, okay? But still it is not easy to understand because you exist because of it, still you don't understand it. Okay, that's a wonder, right? Atma itself is a wonder. So, Swamiji again, Puja Swamiji says, Atma is a wonder because being an infinite, it appears as a finite. That itself is a wonder. It is supposed to be understood by everybody. But it is not understood. Again, that is a wonder. It is everything, but it is never seen. That is also the wonder. So, Bhagavan, like Viragil Theenan Palin Badinai Pol Marayan Indrulan Mamani Jyotiyan, he says, right? So it's like, how is the fire found in wood, right? And you just churn it, it comes out. So where is it there? And where do you find the ghee in milk, right? But it is there. So like that he says, Bhagavan is there everywhere, right? Where Palin Badanai Pol Marayan Indulan, Guravagon Mamani Jyotiyan. See, this Jyoti also it is used in Tamil also, right? Jyoti, Jyotisham api at Jyoti. Because of which everything gets lighted up is Jyoti. The normal Jyoti is lighted up because of your Atma Jyoti only, because of your consciousness which lights up everything. So that is Ishvara. And he says this Uravagonattu Unarvu Kaitrinal, like so by the Bhava Bhakti. That's why, so when you relate to the Ishvara and that Bhava which actually brings out the Ishvara to you, right? And Jnanam of course goes with it, right? So that kind of a Bhagavan who is there everywhere, but he is hidden. So that's a wonder, right? That is also Ascharyavat, right? And then it is not known, but just sitting and listening, it suddenly appears. That is also a wonder. So how, to whom it appears, that is also, it's a wonder only, right? Not, someone was asking this question, right? I don't have, I think he was asking, I'll answer here itself. So I can escape one question in satsang. So he was asking this question, I don't have any dukkha and like I don't feel any limitation. I am cheerful only. So why should, see, I am correct only, right? So even when we all went for Vedanta, we were like 24 years. So we cleared IIT. We studied in BHU, Varanasi, and we got into an IT profession. We were earning very well in US. When Velachari, I remember in 92, 93, the plots were like 4,000 rupees. When we were like earning in lakhs in the US, right? So that was, so what dukkha we had? Nothing. But it's not dukkha or lack. So for some people it is like, okay, we are told there is Brahma with Apnoti Param. So what is this Param, right? We want to get there, right? We understand. So it's not like dukkha. Pariksha Lokan is, you see the futility of things, right? This is not going to give you anything more than what it has already given you. And which I have seen, right? So now Brahman gives me param, right? So then that is the pursuit. So this is all okay. So we have got money, we have everything. But we feel it's okay, we have seen all this, we wanted to see what is Param Brahma, right? That could also be a thing. Not that, see, generally we say because to attract people, we focus on you have problem, you have limitation, you come to Vedanta, right? So that is a thing that is used, but it is not necessary that everybody needs to have only dukkha to come, right? So that's a wonder. How anybody comes is a wonder, that's what I am trying to say here, right? Somebody may come because of dukkha, somebody may see limitation and come. Somebody may not see any of these things, but still be a committed student. But once you come here, you need to be committed, then only you will gain, right? Otherwise, it can't be just a curiosity thing. Curiosity, like information gathering, you won't get Brahman, right? So again, that is a wonder. Okay. So after this knowledge happens, how do I see myself also is a wonder. Because you are Brahman, but still you are acting, working on something, right? That is called Badida Anuvritti. That is also a wonder. So how a teacher teaches, this is also a wonder, right? Because the words cannot reveal, but still we use the words only. We say Brahman is not reachable by words, but we use words. You say Brahman is not objectifiable, but then we say you look at Brahman like this, so that's a wonder. After telling this also, somebody understands this, right? That is also a wonder, right? And Puji Swamiji says, you can talk anything like this and get away with it is also a wonder, right? So this whole Brahman thing is a wonder, right? So you understanding is a wonder, you not understanding also is a wonder. Because it is you, everything is Brahman. It's such a simple thing. Ramana Maharishi said, I am Ati Sulabham. There is a song, I am Mettakadinam. He says, Aye Ati Sulabham. It's the most easiest thing. Because there is nothing other than that. But still you don't see, right? That's a wonder. So that's why Ascharyavat. And how can somebody teach? Because this person doesn't even see a problem, right? The person who understands doesn't see a Dvaita. Now you say there is a problem, but Jnani doesn't see a problem in it. It's a temporary thing, we know it will go away, right? Actually it doesn't exist, right? Forget even going away. The moment you say go away, that means it existed sometime, right? So the person doesn't see a problem. So why does the person need to teach, right? That's why it is Ascharya. So that's why they say it is Karuna only. So the Guru teaches means the person sees, okay, that person, for the one who is asking, there is a problem. So this Guru is able to empathize with the problem of the seeker and assumes, okay, let me come. See, this is another thing, right? This teaching also means you need to know the prakriya, methodology of teaching. So once somebody gains the jnanam, you may not actually focus on the methodology. That's another problem. See, for example, in my case, 98 I finished the course. Till almost 2018 I wasn't teaching actively. So I used to read or listen to some audio, but I was not actively teaching. At least Jaishankarji was teaching, right? So he has been telling me from 2014, you should start, come join me, teach, all that, right? Then finally in 2017 I said, okay, I'll join. Now the problem was I haven't taught for almost 20 years. So whatever prakriya that Swamiji taught, the substance is there. But methodology to teach is something doesn't stay with you, right? See, what you are, it will never go away, right? The moment your jnanam happens, as in like you shift your eye to one to other, right? Once you know, right? There is nothing like you are going to lose. But prakriya you lose, because prakriya you have to remember, right? How did he teach me is something we have to remember. Then I had to like go through all the audios again, look at, so now that whole thing, prakriya you have to constructing new so that you can teach. So that also is a wonder, right? Somebody who has to understand the vastu also need to know the prakriya and should be able to communicate. Because somebody may understand, may know, but will not be able to communicate, right? So many things have to happen. So not only your readiness is important, the Guru also should be capable enough to communicate properly, right? And then both have to come together, then only jnanam can happen. So that is also a wonder. Now I was talking, it's not about me. I wanted to say why it is a wonder, right? As an example, I was talking about me. So the teaching, how somebody teaches is a wonder. How you understand it also is a wonder. Your preparation, again we say emotional maturity, but there is no structured way to prepare. How do you, somebody I think asked this question, right? How do I know whether I am 20% prepared or 40% prepared or 70% prepared or 90% prepared? Right? There is no way to measure it. So how do you know you are prepared? I can also not tell whether you are prepared or not fully, right? You will also not know, I will also not know. Only Bhagavan knows, right? Again it's a wonder. So everything about this jnanam is a wonder. Still this jnanam takes place. Till date, from Srishti, this jnanam is there. No, somebody or other has been talking this. There was never a time, see, some Devaram may not have been there, Krishna Bhakti may not have been there, but this Sampradaya has, even before Bhagavatam, see, Shankara doesn't quote Bhagavatam, right? So which means probably it wasn't there at this time. But this Shastra was there even before him, right? The oldest book, whatever you can take, will have this jnanam. So this jnanam has always been there, and Bhagavan says he gave it during Srishti, and it goes on, right? Like a pravaha, like the Ganges, right? And whoever comes for this jnanam also has to go against the tide. So like Jaishankarji was saying, like people will look upon what happened to this guy, why is he going and listening to this? And if you say you have to know myself, means they will even more, they'll get confused. You know who you are, right? So what is it that... So you have to go against the tide. The whole world, when I came for ashram, I think Jaishankarji had a little easier thing, right? His father was he's the fourth son. So his father was very understanding, go. Right? I am the first son, okay? I had just gone for the job, I am the first, other than my father, I was the first earning member. I had like 3 other siblings after me. So I had just started earning, and that too in dollars, right? And I suddenly came within a year from US and said, I am going to some ashrams, join some sadhus. Right? So it was like 2-3 weeks of hell at home. You know what could have all happened, right? Everybody will come and give you advice. some 10 people will sit around you and then give you gyan as to how all these people are trying to grab you, they want to manipulate you, all kinds of things they will say, right? So you have to go against the tide. Then only you can. So it's again a wonder, right? Like Ganga, it goes from north to south everywhere, right, and to east. Only in Kashi it is Uttaravahini, right? There it just takes a turn and goes back. That's why it is special, right? So it is not easy to go against the tide, right? You have to come out of the whole thing and you are looked upon very differently. That's a wonder. So somebody who goes for this jnanam and pursues this is a wonder, right? So it's all Acharya only. So that's where Bhagavan says Acharyavat. Okay. Kaschit Acharyavat Pashyati. The seer is unique. We saw that. It is a wonder, right? And Anyaha Tata Eva Anyaha Acharyavat Vadati Acharyavat Shrunoti Shutva api na veda kaschit. Okay. So even after all this being yourself, somehow people don't seem to understand, is what he says in this verse. Let me see if I missed anything here. Okay. I think I covered most of it. Okay, let's go to the next one. Dehi nityamavadhyoyam Dehe sarvasya bharata Tasmat sarvani bhutani Natvam sochitumarhasi. Hey Bharata, sarvasya dehe, in the body of all, Ayam Dehi, the one who is the indweller. So, Sarvasya Deha Ayam Dehi. Again, the Deha is many. The Dehi is only one. Okay, so he is not talking about individual Deha Vitarikta Atma here. Okay. Nityam Avadhyaha is always indestructible. He is concluding that part actually. That's why 30th verse, right? The last verse about the Swarupa. Avadhyaha Tasmat Tvam Sarvani Bhutani Sochitum Narhasi. So you of all beings na sochitum arhasi. Okay, you ought not to grieve for all these people. Okay. So I think it is understandable. We have covered this Prishtapeshanam so many times. So I think we can move, right? So essentially is basically saying the Atma is indestructible. It is not available for objectification. Okay. Okay. Swadharmamapi chavekshya navikambitum arhasi dharmyadhyuddhat shreyanyate kshatriyasya na vidyate. Okay. Swadharmam apicha avekshya vikampitum na arhasi. Hi dharmyad yuddhat kshatriyasya anyat shreyaha na vidyate. Okay. So now he is going to talk in relative terms. Okay. He so far spoke in absolute terms. Now Bhagavan is going to talk from dharma standpoint because Arjuna asked from dharma perspective. Okay. And so till the time he gains this jnanam, he also has to look at it from dharma. Right? Anyway, Arjuna asked a dharma question, saying that is it a dharma to do this, right? Because I am going to create so much chaos. By killing men, only women will be left, so what will happen to dharma? All that he asked, right? So, swadharmam apicha avekshya. So, even by looking at what is your swadharma, we will talk about this swadharma. This is another important topic we need to cover. Because this varna dharma and how somebody asked question on, how much flexibility we have on touching the varna dharma, right? Obviously, Bhagavan emphasizes on swadharma. Okay, swadharma, if you look at swadharmam, also, you are not supposed to waver. Kampanam means shaking. Like here, like is wavering. So his question the other day, right? Why does Arjuna need to even, shiver? So Bhagavan says you shouldn't. Okay, narhasi. Okay, you are not supposed to. But not supposed to doesn't help anyway. So narhasi. He dharmyat yuddhat. Other than waging a dharma yuddha, kshatriyasya anya shreyaha na vidyate. There is no other things which can give shreyas. Okay, like shreyas is moksha. Okay, so how does doing one swadharma give one moksha is something we have to see. We will see in the evening. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Shanti.